time.
Really?
Yeah, one of you.
All right. Yeah. Welcome to the June 20th the school committee meeting. And the first order of business is acceptance of the minutes of May 23rd.
Motion?
Second?
All in favor? And the minutes of the meeting of June 6th. Motion?
I wasn't here, so I really can't make the
I
motion.
was not either, so we
I
really
wasn't
can't.
either.
We can't really vote on that.
I
We don't
was.
have quorum to vote on
We
that.
can't vote then, we have to
No,
discuss
we
it
table
next
it.
meeting.
We'll table that.
Yep.
Okay. All right, yeah. We have Mark and Dan are out of town. You know, one's in, they're just out of town. One's in Italy, and the other one's in
California.
California. All right, so it's not a walk in the park there. All right. First order of business, the second order of business, communications.
Or none?
There are none. Thank you very much. And then the next order of business is the superintendent's report. Mr.
Thank you.
Ressless.
I'll be brief this evening. The last couple of weeks has been a blur of field days, stepping up ceremonies, final dances, assemblies, musical concerts, but it's been a wonderful couple of weeks, and tremendous effort by everybody, administration, staff, and especially the students. Final stepping up ceremony is tomorrow morning with the 8th graders, and Dr. Cron and I will be there to wish them well on their way to high school. Upcoming events of any significance, of great significance, is the Rockland Educational Foundation Golf Tournament, which is Friday, 24th.
Still, any openings still?
I don't know,
It's my
Tom.
understanding it's full.
Okay.
Which is a great feat. It's, I think, one of very few times that they've filled every single foursome, so it's a great, great event, and there's great participation this year.
Good.
I'm going to attempt not to finish finish above last place, but we'll have some fun. I'd just like to thank everyone in the school system for a wonderful school year. I think it has been a very good one, and it's my last. I was saying to the folks in the audience that tomorrow is the last day of school in my career of 40 years in education. So it's a significant day. So
Yeah.
thank you to everyone.
I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to be back someplace, sitting around someplace.
We're gonna find 'em.
The other thing is that, don't we have a graduation going on tonight? With the preschool? Is that the preschool graduation going on today?
Different preschool.
Oh, different preschool? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Sorry about
a
that.
rental.
Okay, oh, that's great. We make money that way. The
Yes.
other thing was that just to throw this in, because I went to the Rocks game on Friday night. What a super time that was. Kids were great. You know, they had great times and stuff like that. All right. Following that, we have reports and monthly reports from May. Administrators. We have Dr. Cron, Ms. Bond, Ms. Smith, Ms. Sheffley, and Ms. Shaheen. We have to vote on those,
I
right?
make four motions.
Yeah.
I second for it.
Okay. And then the next one is Ms. Shaw with guidance, and I'll do the nurse and pupil personnel services.
Motion?
3 motions? I'll do it all.
3
You want
seconds.
them all? Sure.
All right. The next is the newsletters for June. Eston, Jefferson Memorial Park. That's for your information. The next order of business is building rentals for May. Seems like we're coming down a little bit, but still pretty active.
Yeah, June is
June's
a
a big
month where we actually make some significant income, because June is the month when we rent to the dance troops, and they will come in and rent the auditorium for 2 full days.
Good. All right. Old businesses. Fundraisers completed. Bunch of good information there. We had, any
Yeah,
questions?
one on
Yeah?
that one.
Okay. All right. Next is request for approval of the 2016-2017 elementary student handbook, second reading. Any questions, comments?
I'd make a motion, we approve it.
Okay.
I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, it's a vote.
It was good.
Okay. Next one is a Request for approval for Prentice Hall Health textbooks, second reading.
And we have Mrs. Phelps here, the health teacher at the high school.
Yeah.
If you have any questions.
You already talked about
Want to come up,
this.
Sue?
Yeah, just give us a, why do you like this? And I'll ask a Mark Norris question in a second. Pick on him. Yes.
What was the question?
No, the question is, I'm sure you probably went through this the last time I wasn't here. If you just give me a quick update of why you picked this textbook. and,
Okay, I picked this textbook because it had more of a worldview, globalization, connecting all the different STEM classes with health and giving career choices.
Okay.
It was
And
really-
these are all aligned with the Common Core, right?
They are aligned with that and the national standards.
Yeah, for
For health.
sciences, right? The other question I would have is that these are textbooks. Do they have these in, online?
They come with a digital license.
They have a
Yes.
digital license? Roger that, thank you.
Well,
Any-
just my way of thinking, this nowadays is extremely important.
Yes.
That we teach health to as many kids as humanly possible, and to have the textbook, I think is important. So is this a textbook we're going to buy, John?
The answer to that is yes.
All right,
We are
okay,
going to
because
buy it.
sometimes we vote them and then the money's not available. That's the reason I asked
Yeah,
the question.
very often that's happened.
All right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we are,
Yes, we are
okay.
going to buy them.
So
All
we
right,
are-
I make a motion, we accept.
Thank you.
Okay,
And I second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Thank you very much. Okay, page turner. We're into new business. Okay, we have a request for approval for RHS Quebec City trip. Quebec.
I'd like to invite Patrick Quinn, our high school French teacher, up to the podium to tell you about the trip.
Parlez-vous français? Bonjour.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour. So, the idea actually came from John Retchless, and I found a company that I had worked with in Newton last year. So I did my practicum in a middle school in Newton, and essentially it would be a 3-day trip where the students would be picked up here at the school and then dropped back off again on the evening of the 3rd day. So 2 nights overnight in Quebec City. I think it's a really great opportunity because I personally am trying to grow the French program here. So having an area of the world so close that uses it as its first language is pretty fantastic.
You going to stay at the Frontenac? You going to stay at the Frontenac?
I wish. That would be awesome. That would be really, really cool.
You are. The chaperone is, oh, okay.
And
That
it
would
says
be
former
sweet.
superintendent there.
I know, I'm gonna. I
They got
think
chaperone,
we
right?
need to amend that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great idea,
I
and
think
you
so,
couldn't
too.
be going to a better place, because they don't want to speak anything but French up there.
That is true.
They're friendly, but not overly friendly as far as we U.S. citizens coming up there. They want to speak French, and I think it would be great for the kids,
Yeah.
just to immerse them right into it. I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm
so-
very excited about it. A couple of the things that I think are pretty awesome as far as the way that the trip is organized is they do have security guards that sit outside the hallways dedicated to our group for the 2 nights that we're there. And other than all of the costs are included in the prices. So of course, the more students we have, the lower the price will go. I think it's fairly affordable given the itinerary they presented. But the really nice thing is having spoken to my former mentor teacher in Newton, the only costs that are not included would be lunch and spending money. So I'm hoping we can get a lot of interest. I would open it up to all high school students, outside of French as well, if that would help bring the trip down in terms of cost and just raise interest.
How many students would you like to take?
It would be really pretty fantastic if we could get between 30 and 34. They can accommodate more as well,
Okay.
but that's generally the size of trips that they have.
Right. And the organization that you're dealing with?
10 for 10.
Yes, so it's called French on Location.
Okay.
They recently rebranded to this name, but they've been doing trips in Canada as well as other parts of the U.S. now for more than 30 years.
Right. Seeing that it is an out of country, international travel,
Yes.
can we have that organization come in and just answer any questions?
I can look into that for sure. Yeah.
I just like to see them, ask them the questions. You can prep them for it. Is, what happens if something happens, if there's a, there's a terrorist incident up there or something, anything along that line.
Sure. Yeah, I can reach out to them and try and set that up as soon as possible.
And what resources they have available up there. I mean, we unfortunately did have a very bad experience.
Yeah.
And the company that we were using did an inefficient job. So we
Yeah,
just want to be sure that we're taking care of our kids. That's
Oh, of course,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, that is definitely priority number one. So
Good.
I can reach out and hopefully have that as soon as possible.
I've looked through the itinerary, but in my former life as a 5th grade teacher in the province of Quebec, Quebec City was my annual class trip. And so I've spent a lot of time there, and it's a very, very good itinerary.
Okay.
Now,
It's all
what
the high
about the
spots.
possibility of combining with another school so that you stay with all French students? Not that you wouldn't open
So-
up to other students, but what about that concept so you get the numbers lower?
I believe that they do, depending on the size of your trip, let's say it was on the size of maybe 20 to 24 students, they would have you go with another school because it's typically a very popular time, especially in the spring and especially the month of May. So it is not uncommon that you will end up doing a lot of the activities with other groups.
But would they combine you so that you could have reduced costs? You could have everyone from Rockland instead of opening up to other people that might not be in the French program. That way you stay kind of in the same.
I am not certain to the answer to that question. I'm
You
sorry.
could ask them. Okay, we can ask them.
I can ask.
If they show up, we'll ask them. Don't worry.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Well, I'd make a motion that we approve it, subject to us being able to speak with a representative of the travel company
Okay.
at some further meeting down the road,
Yeah.
just to make ourselves feel good about just how they would handle
Maybe-
certain situations.
yeah, maybe like,
Of course.
this is what, May of next year?
Yes.
Somewhere around like October-ish,
Yeah,
you know.
Okay.
After school gets started and, John's would be,
Yeah, the former superintendent.
the former superintendent. He
He's
can
gonna
come
get
in
scoped out
and he
first.
can sit over there and answer the
Also,
questions.
I'm-
And we're going to ask the
I can understand
chaperone.
the accent.
Also, I do apologize for writing former a bit too early on this paper.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
All right, there's a
Thank you very much.
there's a motion.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
All right, hi. Well, thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to. All right.
Like trips.
So, okay, Rockland High School site report and school improvement plan. Doctor, come on.
Good
And
evening.
we got this in just under the wire huh, for him. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So, I'd
Parlez-vous
like to
français?
thank,
Parlez-vous français?
absolutely not.
Je ne parle pas français. Okay.
I like that.
It's Tom and Jerry. Certain episodes, I think. Got that. So I'd like to thank briefly the site council that I worked with this year, Sam Hoyle, Amanda Lanigan, Sarah Halagadis, Alexander Carcady, Taylor Gallagher, Sydney McKenna, Brandon Gallagher, and Mr. Richard Phelps. We meet at 7:15 in the morning, so it's a very brave, hardy group, and we did some good work this year, I think. So I'd like to, what I'm presenting tonight are highlight snippets. So if you go to the next slide, this is for everyone at home. If you would like a copy of the complete improvement plan as it stands now, because it's still a draft until it's accepted by the school committee, just send me an email or call the main office and we will send you a copy, okay? So what you're gonna see tonight are just the highlights. Under curriculum instruction, one of the big changes that we're all responding to in one way or another is the new format of the SAT. And that has implications for other math and ELA curriculum. So one of our goals for next year in continuing to use our data, particularly our PSAT data, is to have every student 9 to 12 establish a Khan Academy account, and this is free. And the College Board is actually officially partnered with Khan Academy. And they saw actually a 19% reduction last year in people purchasing outside SAT prep courses, which I thought was a wonderful sign of progress in the world of technology. We're always saying how it's supposed to make things cheaper and faster. Well, It is. 19% of the kids who took the SATs opted for Khan Academy as opposed to paying for a very expensive course. So this is a goal for the math and English department. The review of the program of studies, I think, is something that a high school should do on a constant basis, and we're always doing this. Are the courses we're offering the best courses given the needs of our students? So we're always doing that. And again, the adjusting to the new SAT is a big part of this. Not because necessarily every student is even going to take the SAT, but the form of the questions and the way they're asked are in alignment with the Common Core and with the way AP classes and questions are asked, and it's all connected. We're also expecting MCAS 2.0, and we do not know what that's going to be so far. And then finally, I just wanted to point out, and this was pointed out by site council and also teachers that were involved in this. Our program of studies over the past 4 years has taken made a real strong investment in expanding advanced placement coursework, enriching our science and engineering offerings. We're offering 12 AP courses this year, and the kids are, I couldn't be prouder of the way they're accepting the challenge, and they're pushing themselves. It's wonderful. But at the same time, we want to be sure that our program of studies allows for those students who aren't honors or AP track level students at this time. So that's just something that I want everyone to know that we are looking at. So the science changes that we made 4 years ago, where every student takes biology and then chemistry and then physics, well, that's a real challenge for many of our students, and we understand that, and we knew that going in. But it also means we have to perhaps make some course adjustments along the way for some students who are struggling. So that is, I wanted that to be noted in our school improvement plan.
That Khan Academy, you can get that on a phone. There's an app out there.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
Do you?
I sit there and read it. Then they have some that and TED Talks.
Yeah.
Are really good to have.
I like that.
Yeah, good stuff.
Doctor, with the AP courses now, we've been really stepped it up for better than a year now. Is there any feeling that the courses have been watered down somewhat because of the tremendous increase in participation?
That's an interesting question. I think it varies by discipline, for one. As far as I know, and I checked at least 2 weeks ago, we didn't have any students drop from AP English. And again, we talked about that. We removed an honors level junior English class, and students were concerned. Yeah. And the word amongst professionals was that people don't drop this course. It's not, you may struggle with it, but it's not a course where if you fall behind, you're doomed. Science is another, can of worms altogether. And so I wouldn't say that they watered it down. I would say that we are struggling to get the content in the time allotted. Okay. In science especially. Yes. So for AP Chemistry, for example, we've essentially made it a 2-year course now, which is what a lot of districts have done. The physics numbers are smaller this year than they were in years past. For a 570, 600 student high school, offering that number of APs in one department, it's a challenge. But I wouldn't say they've watered down. I'd say, if anything, they've struggled to make it through. But that happens. Yeah. I remember having discussions 15 years ago with teachers when there was a big push to open APs. And I think people say it doesn't get watered down, but the reality is that if you have 25 or 30 kids taking a course versus 15, even that in and of itself is going to change the pace and the ability. So as far as watered down, I don't think so.
So what I'm hearing is the pluses far outweigh the minuses in offering this many AP classes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've made some adjustments, and we will continue to make adjustments. It's very important, for example, that kids who are choosing courses, that they don't have to take every advanced placement course. And if they're a very strong English student and they're really planning to pursue some major that it is a lot more English, social science oriented than math and science, you don't have to take AP Calculus. Take it if you want. It's great for you to be challenged, but the colleges would prefer to see you take, honors pre-calc as a senior. I think your chances of getting into a top 20% school are just as strong that way. So we're working on it. I think as a school, we're growing.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's a work in progress, because it was a very aggressive step, I think.
Absolutely.
And I know that you felt that way at the time, so that's good that
Yeah.
it is a work in progress still.
I have never had a person, a teacher, or anyone sort of complain or
Okay.
say it's been bad.
Good.
I think in general, in fact, we did a senior survey this year for the first time, trying to collect data from them, feedback from the seniors, and they cited that as something they were glad that they had. So,
Have we got our results back from this past AP?
not
exam?
yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. Is every student that takes the course required to take the
Yes.
exams? Okay.
Yeah.
And do they pay for it, or do we pay for it?
They pay for it.
Okay.
They pay for it. We have students who have are on free and reduced lunch, get a
Right.
break. We had some with the MIMSI. We got some discounted pricing as well.
Oh, good. This one I like.
What's that?
This one I like.
The engineering.
So we are moving to computer science, and we have the unbelievable Angela Armstrong, who's going to be teaching. She's going to be teaching computer science. I put AP Computer Science Principles up there because that is what we are using as a basis to form our program. So our intro program is going to be developed thinking that a year, maybe 2 at the most, down the road, we will have a cohort of kids ready to take AP Computer Science Principles. So it's very exciting.
Is Angela going to is she going to teach that?
Yes.
Okay. Is she going to Bridgewater August?
The training?
Yeah.
I don't believe she's going for computer science yet.
Principles. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she went for environmental science last year.
Yeah. 'Cause I've signed up for that. I'm going to take that.
Oh,
course,
neat.
Just to find out what it's about.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like a great course.
It looks, the description is too. Yep.
So we've been running a course for 3 years now called Engineer Your World, and it had a price tag attached to it. We've decided that we can do it ourselves now that we've done it for that length of time. We're going to turn it into a half-year course instead of a full-year course and try to get more kids exposed to that engineering. We're going to call it Engineering 101. For all the copyright people out there, we're not stealing the curriculum. We're adapting it. And again, just to point out, now we're at year 3 of advanced robotics and year 4 of robotics, so very exciting. The kids continue to sign up for those courses and enjoy them in droves. Departmental common planning time is something that we implemented this year. It's been a huge success. The teachers get an hour. It's just 1 hour every 7 school days, but it does make a difference in their ability to get together, to look at data together, and to adjust pace, particularly where you have a number of teachers teaching the same course, like chemistry. It gives them a chance to work together and also model some lessons from one another. So that's something I wanted to highlight tonight because it has been a very positive change this school year. Under the climate and culture umbrella, we have a student support team that we've had since I arrived, but the wellness committee is new. Freya Leahy, our department head of social workers, runs that committee at the high school, and we established this last year in the midst of the many challenges that we had to face last year. And so this is a committee, Kathy Paulding, Gary Graziano, and Freya Leahy. They look at all of the programs and maybe speakers or anything that we're going to be bringing in, and they've been done a lot of great work this year. So one of the initiatives was trauma-informed, trauma-sensitive schools, and that was basically a screening process for all students, and it's sort of a shake the trees, one of those. And so we're identifying kids who would fly under the radar without some sort of a test like this. And this is similar to what the state is talking about with sort of pre-opioid screening process. So we can identify students, identify kids as young as possible as being perhaps at risk, and any education we can get them as young as possible, the better chance they have of overcoming those odds. Positive, the PBIS program, this is year 2, will be next year. And so we have a team that's been working on that. And then this is the 3rd year of our alternative program. And this year the program is going to open and focus much more on 9th grade students. When we first started the program, we were looking at just juniors and seniors. And now we're saying, we don't want to wait 2 years. We want to get them right out of, right in 9th grade. And so we have a plan to split Ms. Patton and have her cover the 11 and 12, and other teachers focus on the 9th grade. Just back to that for 1 second. Thanks, Dave. The alternative program is, takes up 2 classrooms. There's a huge computer lab. There's a lot of salary involved, so it's a very expensive sort of program whenever you have 2 teachers with a small group of kids. But I will tell you that there is no doubt in my mind that there are 4 or 5 kids who graduated this year who would not have graduated, who would definitely not have graduated if it weren't for Ms. Patton in this program. So in my mind, it's a huge success. We have a lot of work to go with it. We want to refine it and make it better. We want it to be a true transition program where the kids come in and they actually do transition back to full classwork. Now the kids, when they get in there, they're very comfortable. They want to stay there. They don't want to go out to classes. So we're working on those things. But I want the committee to know that I think our investment is well spent, and there are at least a dozen kids over the past 2 years who have graduated who would not have. So I feel very, very pleased with what they've accomplished up there.
Plus, it probably helps the other classes where these kids might at one point or another be disruptive, but now they're in their own place, getting their own instruction at their own pace. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's worked out well. School spirit and culture is something that the site council has talked a lot about this year. We started a group called One Rockland, and we've just finished the first year of the program, had a meeting last week, raised a little over $7,000 last year, and are about to disperse all that money to the clubs and activities. And I think the point of One Rockland fundraising, it was half fundraising, half community building. I think, to me, the purpose of it was to bring together all of the groups. Even within the high school, you have kids who play sports, and some are music, and some are art and drama, and we wanted a way to bring them all together, but we want a way to bring the whole school community together. So One Rockland, I think, has taken on this idea that we're going to bring the whole community together for an event. So that said, I'm going to put in a plug for August 21st and ask everyone to save their date. I think I have it on a later slide, but on August 21st, it's a Sunday from 12 to 4, we have the Kenny Hadley Big Band. It's a world-class big band in the vein of Buddy Rich, Woody Herman, but just top-shelf musicians. And they will be performing out on our outdoor stage. And so we're going to build that out a little bit and get community businesses to come in and see if we can make it sort of a One Rockland Carnival Festival, get all the kids to come out. It's right before school starts. So you'll be hearing a lot about August 21st, and One Rockland's going to sponsor that.
Would you consider some of this service learning too?
It absolutely
Yeah.
could be. Yeah. It definitely could be.
Yeah, track it like
Yeah.
that.
And then again, I mentioned earlier the senior exit survey, which I think is an important piece of information, trying to get back from the kids how they experience school. Ms. Hoffman and the statistics classes, they entered all the data from the surveys, and today I sat down with Ms. Hoffman and looked at a breakout of the data that came from StatCrunch, which I don't know if y'all remember that, but it's a statistics software program that all the stats classes use, and we pay a couple bucks a kid or something like that. But next year, the statistics classes are actually going to redesign the senior exit survey. They're going to discuss how the questions are created. They're going to basically laugh at the questions I created and make them better, which is awesome. So I'm excited to work with Ms. Hoffman and the students next year on that.
Very good.
Student support and accountability, Saturday school and homework club, the third year of Saturday school. So what began as my sort of trying to force every ninth grader who had an F on their report card first term to come to school on Saturdays has really evolved into there's none of that anymore. And it's kids who need the time to make up a test, to make up work, to get extra help. And we have on average 20 to 30 kids every Saturday when we run it, and it runs 2 to 3 Saturdays per month. It's been really neat. And homework club continues to meet after school. We have homework help available till 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday, for our students.
Is that an entire group of students in one area, or are they spread out to the different disciplines?
Well, with Saturday school, that's one of the changes we made, is we spread them out by discipline.
Okay.
So the kids who want math help go here, and the kids who want, but homework club is in one area.
Okay.
But we have science help 2 days a week, and math help 2 days a week, and English help, because Miss Patton is an English teacher that's available pretty regularly. So I don't think our students have plenty of opportunities to get extra help if they want it, but they're so busy. I think we need to offer it at night, but I don't know if that'll work.
Early in the morning.
And then next year, just SAT prep course is going to run during the school day. So I'm glad we've been able to fit that in. And again, I want to just mention the Khan Academy accounts, because we're going to need parent help, helping the kids really follow through and getting those accounts set up. The Khan Academy, and this is free, so a kid takes their PSATs, and this is like getting blood work done that covers everything, but it's for your academic abilities. The tools that Khan Academy gives you take that student's, your individual scores, and designs an individual plan for how to address how to move from here to here, move from here to here. So it really is individualized learning, and it's free. So Mr. Casagrande has really been on the forefront of this, pushing this for the math department, and we're going to bring it into English next year as well.
Yeah. Some of the things I use it for is, like, if I get in my forensics class, if I get some things that we're doing toxicology, looking at chemicals, and the students haven't done that too often here. You brush up on this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So save the date, August 21st. 12 to 4. I should probably look and see what slides are coming up next. And that is it.
Okay.
But again, the full improvement plan is quite dense and has accountability features, so we know who's doing what and when and how we're measuring it. So that is the school improvement plan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Any questions?
Any
No,
questions?
that's
We
fine.
do anything? We have to vote on-
Table. It's the
Table,
first
yeah,
reading.
so they
Okay.
can.
Motion on the table?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So again, if anyone at home wants a copy of it, email me, I'll send it to you, and it'll also be available by hard copy if you need it mailed. Okay?
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Okay. I have attendance policy. Is that part of this?
That's part of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we changed.
So, next order of business is request for approval of the 2016-2017 Rockland High School Handbook. This is the first reading.
First reading. So the only substantive change is around attendance policy. And so I can walk you through tardy. So the changes are highlighted here with my comments to the right. But of course, we'll have time, so if you have questions, that we can talk about them between now and the next meeting. Tardy is now going to be anytime after 8 o'clock. And what has happened in the past is students would go directly to class, and the attendance issue, of all the frustrations I think teachers felt, the biggest frustration was between the 8 o'clock and 8:20, 8:25. And statistically, kids, we have more failures in first block and last block than any of the other classes. And it really is schedule. Now, I think if you go to any public high school in the country, you'll find the same exact thing, but it is what it is. So attacking that 8 to 8:20 tardy is what we wanted to do right off the bat. So we had a committee. We met at least half a dozen times, seemed like more like a dozen. And we looked at policies from other schools. We talked about all the pros and cons and came down with this. So students after 8 now will report directly to the office for a tardy slip. It'll allow us to track a little more closely what they're doing, and it'll also take it off the plate of the first period teacher. So we're going to give that a try.
Do you sign them in to Aspen at that time? You do attendance with Aspen?
They would, what'll happen is they'll come in, they'll do a sign-up sheet, and then we need to get Mrs. Armstrong one of those machines where you press, we have one, I'm told, but it doesn't work, where you press a button and it spits out the time and the pass. So we're going to be going, I think, old school for the start of the year. There are programs where if you have an ID, you can scan it, and then it goes directly into X2. We're going to hold off on the high-tech version to start. I actually think this is going to work for us just fine for now. But
you could try just putting a Chromebook out there and setting it up, and they just put their number in. And then,
there's an
does
idea
work,
too.
and it's real quick.
Yeah.
If you want that, the system will spit out a pass, but you don't want that.
How long a line do you anticipate going out the office door in the morning?
Well,
I'll read the
Depends
next
what kind of
one.
year.
I'm just thinking the kid at the end of the line is going to be later for class than he would be if he...
yeah, that's the downside of going after this.
Yeah.
It really is there's pros and cons to everything. We think what we're going for are the kids who could be on time, who just aren't because there's no incentive.
All the kids that are habitually late.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have issues that are our problem too. We have buses that arrive at 5 of 8, sometimes not until 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's really unfair. So we need to look at that. But in general, I think there's a sort of there isn't a sense of urgency to get to school on time and start school on time, and we need to create that.
I agree.
Absolutely.
John Harrison, who's the incoming high school principal, recently went through quite a heavy-duty attendance revision. It was very complex with Saturdays and making up time, and it makes your head spin trying to figure out what they did. But when he was involved in these discussions, we had him down twice to talk with the group and give us feedback from what they learned, which was very, very helpful. When he compared his attendance data from Dighton-Rehoboth Regional with our attendance data, we've always been at 94, 95% daily attendance. It's very healthy. They were struggling to get above 92%, and they would gain a point here and gain a point there. But where we fall behind them is in tardies to first period. And so again, it reinforced this idea that we need to go after this idea of starting school on time and first period. So I think
Excuse me, is the daily attendance posted in first period for the whole school?
Yeah, it goes, the first period teacher has to enter attendance.
Right.
So now what'll happen is at 8 o'clock, the teacher will hit their attendance, and then they're done. So if someone's absent at 8 o'clock,
They're absent all
they're tardy, and then we take care of it from the office.
Okay.
It adds load to the administration. So when we were having these discussions, it was sort of like we got to learn about one another's jobs again. So it was very healthy, painful, but healthy.
Attendance always is.
So the second change is dismissals we've taken dismissals and grouped them together with tardies. And one of the, I don't want to say it's a culture, but still people out there, if they were watching this, will smile. We get people who are dismissed from school maybe too often, I don't know, to be over, and we want to really stress the fact that being dismissed means you're missing time in the classroom. We certainly understand there are things that you have to go for certain doctor's appointments because you can only get in when you can get in. Yeah. But we're again trying to stress the importance of being in school and in class. So tardies and dismissals are going to be a group that we're going to look at, where we would just look at tardies before. Now we're also going to look at dismissals. And stressing to parents, that if at all humanly possible, and sometimes it isn't, I get it, but planning vacations during school time is really challenging for the student and for the school. The May MCAS exam in particular, if you have a high school student next year, please do anything you can to not be away during MCAS. And the spring exam, it finally took me 21 years to figure this out. The spring exam is where it's the worst because, and I called some of the parents. I felt bad because I was calling to sort of complain, but some people don't have a choice. They're a police officer or a firefighter. They get a particular time. They're told when they can do it, and that's it. And you have to take it. And so we understand, but it not only creates hardship for that student missing a test, but it has a negative effect on the school and our ratings. So, okay, and so going ahead to consequences on the second page. Oh. So for every 4 unexcused absences, a student will receive a Saturday detention. And any combination of 5 unexcused tardies or dismissals per term would equal a Saturday detention. And so that's a little incentive to be on time and where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be. We had some extensive conversations about this with the site council too.
When they have that detention, are they required to make up the work that they might have missed?
Yeah, they're required to do work during that
right.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We feel, I think the faculty feels like this is a step in the right direction. We were exploring all kinds of other things like removing activities in athletics, and we, for good reason. If a student is, for example, misses school 8 times in 3 weeks, 4 weeks essentially, I don't think anyone in their right mind would say we should have let them play on the team or let them, but the fact is you get into these conversations about taking things away from kids who are already struggling probably to be in school. So we kept it fairly simple, and we feel pretty good about what we came up with.
It's critical that there is a consequence, because when they go on from school and they have a job and they show up late as many times as we're talking about here, they may not have a job anymore. Our absence is the same thing. So it is critical that there's a consequence, and they know that being on time is an important part of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So other than that, the handbook is all the dates, and there's a lot of updates in there, but no really substantial changes.
Okay. Motion to table?
Second?
All those in favor? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Next on the agenda is the Jefferson School PAC School Council Report School Improvement Plan.
Mrs. Shifley is going to introduce this.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have with me my PAC chair, Jessica Carpini, and school council member, Jessica Carter.
Holly.
We had a great year at Jefferson School. Our school council really focused on 2 things, after-school enrichment and communication from home to school and school to home. And we went from 0 after-school program to 7 after-school programs at Jefferson by the end of the school year. We reached 180 children approximately in that time. And the school council was very supportive in helping me to establish a blog, a weekly blog for parents to go and check out weekly happenings. It's called Jefferson Happenings. And for next year, our goal for family school communication is really to improve our cultural proficient engagement of families in culturally proficient ways, and really trying to include as many families as we can in our school activities. And another goal of our school council was to help and support our faculty in making curriculum overviews by trimester, so parents know in simple language, not all the standards, what's being taught per trimester. That's included in our school improvement plan. The unique thing at Jefferson School, which was started by Mrs. Pruitt, is that it's a joint effort between the school council and the instructional leadership team. So we have teachers looking at curriculum and families working together to create a whole school program. Our members of the school council were Michael Guyette, a first-year art teacher, Monica Marchione, Jade Marzalek, who was a first-year grade 2 teacher, Jessica Carter, who's a parent, Beth Quinn, and Anna Hughes, both parents. Our instructional leadership team, Janice Freitz, Erin Bertrand, Emma Ray, Laura Leander, Pam Sheridan, Kathy Sullivan, and Jessica Kitchen, all teachers. And the big overview for next year in reading in grades K through 2, our focus is phonics, using the Foundations program, which Karen McKinnon previously talked to you about. So our focus is improving phonics instruction in K to 2. And grades 3 and 4, we examined our data and found that we really needed work with vocabulary. And so grades 3 and 4, that's going to be our focus next year. And in math, we did a whole school book study and looking at mathematics and looking at number sense through the grade levels and noticing that our students that are the most struggling in the upper grades really don't have a fully developed number sense. So that's our focus, K to 4 next year in math, developing number sense through Number Talks, which is another book we will study next year. As far as teaching all students, we're going to be continuing our implementation of PBIS at the tier 2 and 3 level. So students that need extra support and behavior and following expectations, we're going to further develop the PBIS program in that area, and implementing morning meeting in K through 4. It's a part of responsive classroom, and it helps to build community within our classrooms and helps to solve problems as classrooms. As far as professional culture, we are going to continue our use of PLCs, which are professional learning communities, and which this year it was very successful. Our teachers were able to meet at common planning time and target groups of students that needed extra help in literacy. So next year we will be targeting students, again, in literacy and mathematics during those times. Do you have any questions?
Very aggressive.
It is.
Yeah.
Very good.
First of all, congratulations to the PAC.
Yes.
We don't know what we would do without you.
I'll tell
really.
you, and
You kind of tie everything together with all these the fundraising that you do and what you're able to offer the kids that we're not unfortunately able to do. It's so important. So,
Jessica Carpini has some further information about the PAC.
Good.
Do you have any questions?
No, I just have a comment. My grandson goes to Jefferson, and he just loved it there this year. The development he's had this year has been super. And he comes and talks to me about some things, and would you hear that? Oh, school, yeah, that's pretty good. Starts talking about butterfly development and all the.
Well, I've been
like that.
teaching, I've been in education for
Yeah.
21 years, and I have
Really
to say,
good.
this year was an amazing year for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and it was it was a year of tremendous growth for
Yeah.
me as well.
And good transition.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. You did a super job.
Yes.
Thank you. Just a very brief overview for the Jefferson PAC this year. We raised a little bit over $27,000 in fundraising this year. I will start off by saying 11,000 of that was raised between 2 book fairs. We do a fall book fair and a spring book fair in conjunction with Literacy Night. And we don't actually take that $11,000 in cash money because we luckily don't need that as cash money. So we take that back in books that goes back to the teachers in the classrooms. So of that 11,000 that we made in the book fairs, over 6,000 went back to teachers to spend on wish lists for books. And also 700 was used. Each of the new kindergarten screening students coming in were given a book upon screening. So we were able to do that.
Excuse me, so that's why the numbers, there's a $16,000 number here, but if we add the 11 to it, then you're, where you're talking about, okay.
Yes, so the very last line where it says book fair profit taken in books for
Okay.
classrooms, that,
Just a suggestion on that, if you
Yes.
just put down the number in kind, of money, so you could see that you had, because I'm looking at, I got a little deficit here, I was ready to take out my checkbook and make up the difference,
no, we actually have about $8,000 in the bank account that's just sitting
That's
there.
super.
That doesn't
Great job.
include the money that we raised and spent this year.
Wonderful.
Right.
So we were able to do some new types of fundraisers. We did an ice cream social with a silent raffle, which was hugely successful. A special person dance, which was the first time for Jefferson. And I think our families really enjoyed spending their money towards fundraising on events and memories as opposed to buying,
And that was
Tchotchkes.
postponed because of the
That was
snowstorm.
great.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was postponed, and it was still hugely successful, even though it was in
Yeah.
March.
Were you a special person?
No, my wife was.
wow.
Okay, she's.
All right. I've always known that you weren't
Yeah, no, I'm not at all.
Dick.
Common as a penny.
We still love you.
God, somebody does. Huh?
And we're looking forward to another successful year. We're going to make a few changes, but I think they will all be positive, and hopefully we'll be back to report on even better fundraising next year. So.
Great.
Great, super job,
Amazing.
super
I
job.
can't even believe that.
I know. What else? Hey? Yeah.
Good for you too, Michelle.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much for all
All
your
right.
effort.
Yeah. We have to vote on
I'm
these.
in
don't we?
awe.
We have to vote on
We
these.
have to table that one.
Oh, table.
First reading.
It's first reading.
Which
It's
one?
already
On
two
this?
meetings,
Yes.
so
Okay,
it's in a row.
okay.
Second.
I'm sorry,
missed
I'm motion,
Wasn't
motion
there.
table.
Second.
All those in
All in favor? Aye, aye.
favor?
I'll have to get these back in order.
It's okay. You're close.
Okay. So we have, that was Jefferson, okay, request for approval of fundraisers. Oh, there they are.
Two motions?
Car wash.
Okay, motions, 2 motions,
2 seconds.
2 seconds, all in favor? Aye. Good, good. Yes. Let's see, and the last one is surplus properties.
Yes, the Memorial Park School has textbooks, all of which are over 15 years of age. They like to surplus them.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
So
Motion,
moved.
yeah, so moved. And motion?
Second.
Motion? Okay, so moved, there we go. All right, next on the agenda, public service announcements. Da-da-da-da.
Dun. From a health perspective, summer is here. Do not be like me and remember your sunscreen everywhere. It's very important. You do not want a sunburn.
All right. And the other part of that too is mosquitoes and ticks and,
There's lots of ticks this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is a
definitely
lot
check
of them.
yourself when you're outside because they blow in the wind. You don't have to be laying in the grass. There's a lot of ticks. A lot of ticks.
all right.
Just be safe. Be safe.
Yeah.
Have a good, safe.
Tomorrow's the last day of school?
Tomorrow is the last day.
Half a day?
Half a day,
What time, 12 and 12:30?
12 and 12:30.
Yeah, I listened to you message this afternoon. Be safe, have fun, get rested, read a book every once in a while.
Yes.
All right.
Motion to
Motion
adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
No, I can't believe it.